Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Which is lecture number 8. Course title is Advanced Physical Chemistry and Dr. Anna Parabhu. Course is Conductometry and course code is CHEM3117. Let us start our lecture. The contents are number 1, Gibbs axis surface, and number 2, calculation of Gibbs axis surface, and number 3, capillary action and its application. Here we will see that what is Gibbs axis surface and how we can calculate it, and what is capillary action and how it is related to its applications. It is about Gibbs surface axis. For understanding this Gibbs surface axis, we basically need concepts. One concept is that interfacial and bulk regions of two phases in contact. It means that bulk region and interfacial regions are in contact. The contacting two phases where adsorption takes place at interface. It means that when we contact two phases, then an interface is developed. And how interface is developed? Because of adsorption. So where adsorption takes place, it will be take place at interface. The third point is that contacting the two interfaces where adsorption does not take place at interface. It means that when the two interfaces will contact each other, then their adsorption will not take place because the two interfaces contacting each other. Okay, we have three images. First is B phase bulk, means we have beta phase, and the other is alpha phase. When these two phases are in contact, then they form an interfacial layer. Okay, this interfacial layer had some thickness, and this is in between the two phases. Then it is adsorbing from the beta phase and from the alpha phase. It means that some concentration of the components of beta phase are adsorbing through the beta phase bulk in the interfacial layer, and some concentration of the alpha phase components are adsorbing from alpha phase bulk to the interfacial layer. Okay, now we will see that how adsorption at interface of alpha phase and beta phase in system 1. Basically, system 1 is the system of actual system, real system. In this system, adsorption occurs, and in reference system, in our lecture number 7, we have discussed that in our reference system, the adsorption does not occur. Okay, let us discuss it. First of all, coming to the figure, we have the two phases, alpha phase and beta phase. Suppose that we have two phases, alpha phase and beta phase. The concentration of I component in alpha phase is Ci alpha, and concentration of I component in beta phase is Ci and beta. Okay, suppose that we go from left to right in alpha phase. When we go from left to right in alpha phase, then CIA, meaning concentration of I component in alpha phase, becomes constant, remains constant until the dotted line of interfacial layer. Okay, when we cross the dotted line from left to right, then suddenly an increase occurs from left to right, and concentration increases, and stoichiometry calculation deviates. And if we talk about the beta phase, the concentration of I component in beta phase Ci beta, then we will go from right to left in the figure. If we go from right to left in the figure, we see that Ci beta means concentration of I component in beta phase remains constant until the dotted line of interfacial layer. But when we go next to the dotted line from right to left in the figure, we see that it suddenly increases. That increase also shows that there is an increase in the concentration in the interfacial layer where adsorption occurs, but this increase is less than the increase of Ci alpha. So in the below a figure there is written that adsorption at the alpha and beta interface real system solid line, the profile of the concentration changes of the component I as a function of distance, means as we go from right to left, as we increase distance, then firstly it remains constant, then it increases. Okay, we see that it is a function of the distance from the xy surface, Gibbs surface. Okay, in the right side of the slide there is written that system consisting of the phases alpha and beta and I in the is the moles of a component I are introduced at equilibrium. The concentration of the component I in the phases alpha is Ci alpha and in the phase beta is Ci beta. The region in which the changes of the concentration occurs, marked in figure by vertical broken line, is called the interface or interfacial layer. Okay, now we go our next slide number. It is about ideal system in which no adsorption takes place, means system 2, which we call as reference system, ideal system. In this system we have seen that a figure is drawn where the Ci alpha and Ci beta lines are straight lines. It means that in our two phases contact there is a line xy. This line is called Gibbs surface. At this line it is shown that the concentration remains constant, no change. When concentration does not change, it means that adsorption does not occur. So in the below of figure there is written that adsorption at the alpha and beta interface, ideal reference system. Green line shows the concentration profiles of the component I at the changing distance from the Gibbs surface interface xy. Okay, at the right side of slide there is written that a number of moles of component I in each phase can be calculated as below. Ni alpha means number of moles of I component in alpha phase is equal to V alpha into Ci alpha. V alpha is the volume of that components in alpha phase, means volume of alpha phase, and Cia means component of concentration of I component in alpha phase, and Nib means number of mole of I component in beta phase is equal to V beta means volume of beta phase into Ci beta means concentration of I component in beta phase, where V alpha and V beta are the volumes of phases alpha and beta respectively. So going to our next slide, we will discuss another concept. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. If the area of the dividing surface xy is a, then dividing ni sigma by the value called surface concentration is obtained as surface concentration is equal to ni sigma surface excess over its area. Actually, it is excess surface concentration means that number of moles per unit area of the dividing surface xy. In real system, 1 in relation to the concentration. In the ideal system, 2. Note that the excess concentration may be positive or may be negative. Its positive and negative sign depends on the number of moles, means surface excess concentration. Okay, next written is that the excess amount is called the relative adsorption of the component I, because we are relating the two systems, so this component adsorption I will be relative. Thus the relative surface excess relates the adsorption at the interface to a solvent in the bulk phase. The relative surface excess quantities do not depend on the location of the dividing surface. The relative surface excess Ni sigma of the species I and solvent 1 will be equal to Ni sigma 1 is equal to Ni minus Ci alpha into V minus into N1 minus C1 alpha V into Ci alpha minus Ci beta over C1 alpha minus C1 beta. It means that here there is a relation between the I component species and solvent 1. Going to our next slide, number 9. It is written the formula we had discussed earlier, where N1 and Ni are the total number of moles of component 1, means solvent 1, and I component species respectively, and V is the total volume of the system. The surface excess concentration of the component I in relation to component 1, means solvent, is equal to Ni alpha 1 over A, means its surface excess concentration over its dividing area. Thus the surface excess of component I defined by Gibbs is the difference between the number of moles of the component on a unit area of the dividing surface, example given, per centimeter square, actually present in the system, and that which would be present on the surface in a reference system if the bulk concentration in the adjoining faces were maintained up to a chosen geometrical dividing surface, means no adsorption, and in both systems the number of solvent moles is the same. Now we have some explanation about Gibbs surface or Gibbs dividing surface. Gibbs dividing surface or Gibbs surface is a geometrical surface chosen parallel to the interface and used to define the volumes of the bulk phases for the calculation of the extent of adsorption and of other surface excess properties. Gibbs located it in such a way that the surface excess of the principal component, means solvent 1, which is most often water, was 0. In other words, the Gibbs surface xy is in the position that both in the real and reference ideal system the amount of component 1 is the same. Okay, now let us discuss what is capillary action or capillary. The phenomena of rise or fall of a liquid inside a capillary tube when it is dipped in the liquid is called capillary action or capillarity. When a glass capillary is immersed in water, the water rises inside the tube. When a glass capillary is immersed in mercury, the level of mercury inside the tube falls below the level in the outer vessel. It is mentioned in the figures. In the first figure, it meniscus is the curve of the liquid. Liquid is water, so water rises up in the capillary much than the mercury in the second figure. So the meniscus means curve of in the capillary. The curve shows the level of the liquid, which is mercury. Okay. In this slide, here explains some other things. In water, the strength of the adhesive forces are larger than the strength of cohesive forces. So the concave formation of the water in capillary tube means capillary attraction. So this concave is due to the concave formation is due to the basically concave formation represents that strength of adhesive forces are larger than the cohesive forces. For mercury, the cohesive forces are stronger than adhesive forces, which allows the meniscus to bend away from the walls of the capillary tube. This is known as capillary repulsion. Okay, let's go over slide number 13. Let's go over slide number 13. What are the forces in capillary action? The first force is cohesive forces. These are attractive forces between like means same molecules. And what are adhesive forces? Attractive forces between unlike means different molecules are called adhesive forces. And what is surface tension? This occurs as a result of like molecules cohesive forces banding together to form a somewhat impenetrable surface on the body of water. Basically, surface tension is the forces, cohesive forces, attractive forces between molecules, which causes the other molecule to bend towards the first molecule. And the examples of surface tension are basically the dipping of water through the water tap. The surface tension is measured in Newton per meter, means its unit is Newton per meter. Newton is unit of force, and meter is unit of length. So force per unit length, also called surface tension. Capillary action occurs due to adhesive and cohesive forces interacting between the liquid and the surface of capillary tube. When the adhesive force is stronger than cohesive forces, then level of liquid inside tube becomes greater than its level outside the tube in the vessel in which capillary tube is immersed. When the cohesive forces is stronger than adhesive forces, then the level of liquid inside the tube becomes smaller than its level outside the tube in vessel in which capillary tube is immersed. Okay, this is capillary action of water. Capillary action occurs because water is sticky due to the forces of cohesion and adhesion. The surface tension acts to hold the surface intact, attached with bulk liquid. Now, capillary action. The adhesion to the walls is stronger than cohesive forces between the liquid molecules This is called capillary action. The height to which a capillary action will take water in a uniform circular tube, this is shown in the right picture, is limited by surface tension and of course gravity. Okay, what are the applications of capillary action? To absorb water by using paper towels is basically application of the capillary action. Due to capillary action, the water is absorbed by using paper towels. Okay, in our thin layer chromatography, what happens? A layer of liquid is used to separate mixture from substances. This layer of liquid acts or separates the mixture by using the phenomena of capillary action. Okay, the pumping out of tear fluid in the eye is basically the phenomena of capillary action, and to generate energy, a possible use for capillary action is as a source of renewable energy by allowing water to climb through the capillaries. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Allah, thank you. Allah Hafiz.